What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 11th Hour Gaming Channel. My name's AJ Gels. There we go. I don't know why I cannot do this intro right now. I keep biting my tongue. We're finally going to be sitting down and taking a look at the Game Award nominees. I had a busy week at work this past week, so I really haven't had time to sit down and really dig into these. But I've finally kind of gone through, picked all my nominees for every category that I want to make a prediction in. The Game Awards are on December 12th, I do believe. We will be doing a video for that. For the Game Awards, going over all the new stuff that was announced. Really, I'll be watching with you guys and giving my commentary on top of it. Also running through my list and seeing how well I score for the Game Awards. The way I score myself, for anybody who's, maybe this is the first time watching me during this event, basically the way I score myself, each category, I either choose one game or two games as my prediction. If it's a category that I've picked one game and that game wins the category, I give myself a full point. If I made two selections for a category and one of those two games wins, I give myself a half point. That's generally how I run my scoring system for the Game Awards. As always, tell me what your picks for different categories. Do you agree, disagree with me on certain categories or whatever? A lot of times, I think I tend to pick what I think the best game in the category was, not necessarily how to put this. I think I pick what, of all the nominees, I pick what I think was the best game, not necessarily the best game of the particular category, if that makes sense. So, like for strategy game here, I'll kind of tie this into our first category. The nominees are Age of Wonders, Planetfall. I'm going with Anno 1800. I'm not 100% sure if that's pronounced correctly, but I'm going with Anno 1800, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Total War 3 Kingdoms, Tropico 6, and because for some reason they couldn't fit this all in one screen, Wargroove. And honestly, I gotta go Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Like I said, I'm picking this one because I think this was the best overall game. It might not be the best strategy game, but I think this is the best overall game. But I love Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I don't want to give any crap to Total War 3 Kingdoms. I actually really did enjoy that game. I've really been getting into Total War recently. The rest of the games in this category, I haven't played, but Fire Emblem, look, I'm surprised actually it didn't get a nomination in RPG, which we'll get to in a little bit. But Fire Emblem, I think it was criminally under-nominated this year. I think Fire Emblem 3 Houses should have gotten a Game of the Year, at least a Game of the Year nomination. And I also think it should have gotten a voice acting nomination, just for the performance of Sothis. I thought this game really should have had a few more nominations instead of just being nominated for Best Strategy Game. So, yeah, maybe that sways my opinion here. But, yeah, overall, though, I do think Fire Emblem 3 Houses was a great strategy game. I love the RPG elements. Everything flowed so well in that game. Yeah, I've got to give that one to 3 Houses over Total War 3 Kingdoms. If I'm going with just the games I've played, for me, it's Fire Emblem. I mean, I've seen Tropico, I've seen Planetfall, Anno 1800. I've not seen anything of Wargroove, but of all the games that I've seen / played, yeah, it's Fire Emblem for me. That's what I've got to give it to in the strategy category. Sports racing, I don't have a pick for this. Hell, even the game that I would pick isn't even nominated. I'd go MLB The Show. But in all honesty, I didn't think this was a great year for sports and sports / racing games. So honestly, I'm abstaining from making my call in this category. So on to score and music for games this year. This is for outstanding music inclusive. For outstanding music, I'm going to try this one more time. For outstanding music inclusive of score, original song, and / or licensed soundtrack. And for me, this is an easy pick. It's Death Stranding. Of what was nominated was Cadence of Hyrule, Death Stranding, Devil May Cry 5, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Sayonara Wild Hearts. It's Death Stranding. The game's soundtrack is really good. During my Let's Play, I've been joking that we're basically listening to Hideo Kojima's iPod is kind of what we're doing. But the music just where it's such a great what's the term, ambient soundtrack. Even though it's not, it's kind of like it's mood music in a weird way. He's playing a lot of modern stuff. For some reason I can't. What is it? Low Roar, I think, is the name of the band who's playing a lot of the music in the game. I think he's pulled some stuff from the Lumineers. He's pulled some stuff. There's some Japanese artists on there. It's a lot of music that's kind of like modern. I don't want to say progressive rock. I don't know exactly how to categorize a lot of the music that he's pulled into this game, but there's a lot of really great modern music that he's put into this game, and they play at such the perfect times. Like I still remember coming over the hill, going into Port Knot City, and then the music suddenly kicks in, and it even shows like what the song is, who it's by, as you're going into the city, and that's when it plays. Almost everything else, almost all the other sound kind of dies out. I mean, yeah, you're still hearing Sam's footsteps and everything, but really in such a quiet game, when the music kicks in, it's really good. It adds something to the game. It's the best way I can put it. And I think Death Stranding did it the best out of just anything this year. So easily for music, I got to give it to Death Stranding. And I'm sorry if I seem like I'm just a blabbering mess when I talk about Death Stranding. The game was just so good. I loved it, man. Role-playing game. We have Disco Elysium, Final Fantasy XIV, Kingdom Hearts 3, which it's an RPG, but not, again, I still would have put Fire Emblem up here in this category as well. Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, and The Outer Worlds. Give me a second. Excuse me. And this is for the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. Honestly, through the name of that, from the description of that, I gotta go The Outer Worlds as best RPG. I've really been enjoying The Outer Worlds from what I've played of it. I still need to play more, but as a whole, I really do enjoy The Outer Worlds. I think it's a good RPG. It really finds a way. It finds a way to kind of modernize some of that old school Fallout sort of gameplay. It works. It's a lot of fun. Loving the characters. Loving the game. So I gotta go The Outer Worlds as one of my predictions. And I know I made fun of Kingdom Hearts being nominated in this category, but I also got to give Kingdom Hearts also a nomination. I'm trying to figure out how to say that. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts was a good game. I think it fell off at the end, especially once you start getting to the Pirates of the Caribbean world. It's kind of why I put the Let's Play on hiatus. It's just, I think the end of it starts to get a little monotonous and starts to get, not enjoyable. It's not the way to say it. I just don't think the worlds are as cool as the early game worlds, but beside the point. No, I think there are some really cool RPG mechanics in this, and I didn't play Disco Elysium. I don't get the buzz about Final Fantasy XIV. I mean, yeah, I get it. MMOs just aren't my thing, but I don't get it. And same with Monster Hunter. I've never been a Monster Hunter guy. I've tried it. I just cannot get into it. So between the two remaining games in this category that I like, I could go back and forth between The Outer Worlds and Kingdom Hearts 3. So those are my two predictions. Now, moving on, we have Best Performance, which is awarded to an individual for voice-over acting, motion, and /or performance capture. See, this is one of those that, again, I think that there are some, how to put this, I think that some people were snubbed in this category. Again, I put the voice actress for Sothis from Fire Emblem Three Houses. I think she got snubbed here. I think she should have gotten a nomination, mostly because Ashley Birch, Courtney Hope, and Laura Bailey, I didn't think were outstanding performances. Nothing against Ashley Birch. I really like Ashley Birch. Excuse me. But her role as Parvati Holcomb in The Outer Worlds, I don't think the performance was that great. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I just thought it was just good, normal. I think what makes Parvati so fun is Parvati's writing. But I guess part of it is Ashley Birch. But again, I wouldn't nominate her for performance. Same with Courtney Hope as Jessie Faden. She's fine. I just don't get it. And Laura Bailey as Kate Diaz. I didn't think Kate's performance was absolutely amazing. Although, again, okay, actually, I was about to say I don't think anyone from the Outer Worlds Controller Gears 5 should have been nominated in this category because I didn't think the performances in there were anything over the top. I will actually pull that back on Control because, actually, if we move down to the end here, Mads Mikkelsen and Matthew Peretta, both of them I think had fantastic performances. I think they nailed it. So, actually, I will give Peretta some credit for playing Casper Darling in Control because there was something, the more and more I saw from him, the more and more I absolutely loved him. Like I said, Ashley Birch, Courtney Hope, Laura Bailey, and I'll even throw Norman Reedus in when I say this, and I'll say this about a game that I loved. I think all four of them did fine jobs, and this is I'm a guy who loves Norman Reedus, but I'm gonna be honest, Sam is kind of bland. I don't think there's a lot you could do with Sam to go, oh my gosh, that was an amazing performance. I think he's good. Again, like the other three that I mentioned, like the other three that I mentioned. I think that they were good, but it didn't wow me, if that's what I'm trying to say. But Mads Mikkelsen and Matthew Peretta, they wowed me in kind of different ways. Peretta, just how much he got into character as Casper Darling in Control. Just every time I see him, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be goofy. It's going to be out there. But the more and more I saw him, I'm just like, he went for that role, and I loved it. And Mads Mikkelsen, always an outstanding performance from Mads Mikkelsen. He's another guy that I think just always goes for it, gives pretty much everything he's got into a role. And I don't want to say he doesn't have a lot of speaking roles, because even the weird moments that when we're connecting to BB, and we get those like little 30-minute chunks with Mads Mikkelsen where he's just talking to BB, is just he just goes for it. It's just you can tell in some of these scenes when he's being kind of goofy. You can tell in those scenes that he's being very heartfelt. He's really trying to bring the player in. He's really trying to make you feel something. And I'm really excited to see what Mads Mikkelsen does later in the game. Again, I haven't finished Death Stranding yet, but everything I've seen of Mads Mikkelsen, I really, there's something that just draws me into this performance. Similar with Matthew Peretta, and those are my two for actually my picks for best performance are Mads Mikkelsen and Peretta. Those are my two picks because I think the other four, I think they did a fine job. I just don't think that I just can't say that they were outstanding performances. I think that they were good and they did the job. But I think Matthew Peretta and Mads Mikkelsen, I think both of them were the standouts in this category. And I'd still like to write in I don't know the voice actress for Sothis, but I want to give her I want to have a write in for her. So moving on to ongoing game. Really, this one is just a shot in the dark guess for me, but I'm going Apex Legends. Just everything I've heard about the game, I really haven't played it, but I got to give some credit to Apex because of how much people have been talking about it, have been loving it. So I'm gonna go Apex, honestly, for ongoing. So really, just kind of moving on now on to narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game, and this is I think this is a category that I'm going to give to another game that I think was just snubbed this year and should have actually gotten another game that I think should have gotten Game of the Year nomination. But I'll go through the actual nominees here, and that is A Plague Tale: Innocence, Control, Death Stranding, Disco Elysium, and The Outer Worlds. And from what I've said, a game that has been snubbed should have gotten a Game of the Year nomination. Well, seeing actually 3 of these got Game of the Year nominations. Actually, I gotta give Best Narrative to A Plague Tale: Innocence. Death Stranding's narrative is told the Kojima way. It's told oddly, and you kind of have to just accept what's going on. I didn't think Control's story to me is just confusing to be kind of confusing, and The Outer Worlds, again, it's fine. It's just Plague Tale: Innocence really stuck with me this year. I mean, Asobo and Focus Home just did a great job with that game. Just the characters, the emotions, everything. Really, even more characters. The main character and the little brother. I think maybe they should have gotten a nomination in Best Performance, because I think both of those characters are great. But Plague Tale Innocence, there was just so much to love about this game. It had fun puzzles. The gameplay itself was just enjoyable. The characters were great, and honestly, I think the narrative, maybe it's because it was just so simple to understand. It was very start, middle, and I know I'm kind of rambling here, and I know this is going to sound like a weird thing to say. I love the fact that it had just a simple start, middle, and end. So many games, I think, are trying to be so fancy and out there and weird with their storytelling and holding things as a mystery and trying to fake the player out. Plague Tale was just it had its start. We have we have to deal with the rats and everything. We have the Inquisition that's looking for Hugo. And then you have the older sister trying to protect the brother. There's maybe some resentment of the older sister for the brother. And it just told the story. It told it in a linear fashion. It told the story. Again, it told a nice story about a sister and a brother kind of coming together, a family of just. Again, this is if it seems like I'm not saying anything, like I'm just saying buzzwords, it's because I kind of am. It's because Plague Tale's story, and it had some really depressing beats, but it made me feel good, if that makes sense. It made me feel something deep down, and that's what I'm looking for out of a narrative. And I think Plague Tale did it better than anything else this year. And again, I think this game has been critically underrated here at the Game Awards. I think this game should have had a Game of the Year nomination. I think it should have had a Game of the Year nomination. I think it should have maybe had some performance credits. I think this game it should have had a lot more nominations than it did. But yeah, I gotta go best narrative, Plague Tale Innocence. Best multiplayer game, I'm trying to think. Like ongoing game, again, this is another category that I really don't have a lot of experience in, because I really don't play online games. Because in all honesty, actually, I didn't play Tom Clancy The Division online too much. It was okay. I have not played any Modern Warfare online. Borderlands 3 I don't play online. I gotta go Apex again, just based on how I've heard people talk about it and everything. I think it's gonna win best multiplayer. Moving on to skipping mobile, because I don't really play mobile games. Again, independent games, stuff I've not played, even though I think Concrete Genie should have gotten a nomination, because I thought Concrete Genie was fantastic. Or is Concrete Genie not considered an indie game because it was published by Sony? Whatever. I still think Concrete Genie should have gotten something there. It's similar to okay, outside traditional publisher system. Okay. I understand how they're defining indie game now. So I guess, yeah, Concrete Genie and Plague Tale both would not have qualified under this category, because with Concrete Genie being published by Sony and oh, come on, brain. Plague Tale being published by Focus Home. All in all, I'm sorry, I got distracted inside my own brain there. Independent game, again, another category that I don't play games within this category very often, but given the nominees, it's going to be the Entitled Goose Game. Let's be entirely honest. I think anyone could call it's going to be the Entitled Goose Game, with just the memes and everything that game has spawned. How many people just love the Entitled Goose Game? That's my pick for best indie game. Games for impact. For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message, we have Concrete Genie from Pixelopus and SIE, Grace from Normata Studio and Devolver Digital, Kind Words by Pop Cannibal. I'd never heard of that one. Life is Strange 2 from Don't Nod, and Sea of Solitude from EA. Actually, I didn't get to play Sea of Solitude. I actually didn't know it released this year. In all honesty, I kind of want to go back. That game actually looked kind of interesting. Life is Strange 2, I think, started out really good and really has been on a downhill trajectory since episode 1. I'm somebody who actually, I really liked Life is Strange 1. I like Life is Strange Before the Storm. Life is Strange 2 just really hasn't been connecting with me. And I'm not saying it's bad. I don't think it, like I said, it's just not doing for me what I think the first one did. So, but with how much I've been talking about it, again, this is going to be another easy one if you watch the channel. This is another easy category that I'm going to pick. It's going to be Concrete Genie. Because I think that game, another game like Plague Tale that I think really deserves a lot more. It deserves way more nominations. Hell, art direction. I think Concrete Genie should have gotten a nomination. I also think it should have gotten a Game of the Year nomination. It's just it really, maybe it's because it underperformed in sales or something. But the way that game made me feel and just. Yeah, again, this is another category that I can only say that's Concrete Genie just really made me feel something that it's like I said, Life is Strange and just other games just didn't make me feel this year. So again, I got to go Concrete Genie. Yeah, where's my mouse? Game direction. See here, this is awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Our nominees are Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, and The Outer Worlds. You know, when I first looked at these nominees, I was thinking this was going to be an easy category to, pick. Well, let me rephrase this. My pick was really easy, and that's Death Stranding. Easily is game direction. Because, I mean, if you're talking creative vision and innovative design, excuse me, in a game, that's Kojima all the way. And especially with what he did with Death Stranding, yeah, I gotta go with Death Stranding on that one. But you know what? I could see Outer Worlds pulling something off there, because Outer Worlds was really weird. And not my kind of game, but from what I've heard a lot of people talk about, I could see where the Outer Worlds would pull and would win this category, depending on who's out there. But I think Death Stranding could win game direction. I really, really think Death Stranding could win game direction. In my opinion, I think that's going to be the win here. Now, this is a weird category to me because there's the fresh indie game, obviously presented by Subway. Recognizing new independent studio that released its first game in 2019, and I gotta go House for the Untitled Goose Game. It's a pretty obvious pick, seeing that I already named. Oh, no, I still gotta go House for the Untitled Goose Game. I'd like to say Mega Crit for Slay the Spire, because I missed Slay the Spire somehow when I was initially looking at this, but yeah, it's got to be the Entitled Goose Game developer House. But I will give a shout out to Slay the Spire, really cool game. Moving on to fighting game, again, just another category that I don't play games in this category very often, which I always kind of feel like that's how the lower categories are when it comes to the Game Awards. It's just there's not a lot of games that I play in each category. I'll usually play only one or two. But for this one, the game that I play the fighting game that I play is Mortal Kombat 11, and that's my pick. In all honesty, I just don't know enough about the rest of them. But for me, I got to go Mortal Kombat. So that's my pick in fighting game. Now I'm pretty much just skipping through these because this is all eSports categories, eSports Game of the Year, blah blah blah, eSports Coach, Content Creator of the Year, Community Support. What's the next one that I actually do have? Audio design. There we go. Audio design. Recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design in games. The categories we have here are Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Control, Death Stranding, Gears 5, Resident Evil 2, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Now, this is going to be a weird call for me. I'm actually going to give this one to Control. And this is a category I came down between Control and Death Stranding, and the reason I'm giving it to Control, it's just the way it utilized the sound. Death Stranding utilizes sound in its own way by the fact that it's so quiet all the time, and I like that. But I think Control, how to put it? I think Control actually uses sound to set the tone, while Death Stranding uses no sound to set the tone. What Death Stranding uses its sound to kind of relax you and to kind of give you this sort of zen-like feeling while you're just delivering things. Control uses its sound design with the whispering in the background to really always kind of keep you on edge, never make you comfortable. It just, I gotta say, I think the way that the sound itself, again, just purely audio, gets me to feel something, I would actually have to give it to Control over Death Stranding on this one. Both of them, I think, use sound in their own way, or sound / lack of sound in their own way. But if we're looking at a purely audio-based category, I actually have to give that one to Control. That was actually a tough one to kind of come down which one I liked a little better for that. Moving on, we have Art Direction for Outstanding Creative and / or Technical Achievement in Artistic Design and Animation. Our nominees are Control, Death Stranding, Gris, I'm not actually sure, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, or The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. And this is another category that I actually had to come down between Control and Death Stranding. I think maybe Gris could would have a chance. I haven't played it, but just by looking at this cover, if the rest of the game kind of has this like watercolor sort of paintedly look, I could see where some people would give that to Art Direction. But if we're looking at for outstanding, again, I'm gonna go off of the description for the category for outstanding creative and / or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. This is one I'm gonna hedge on. This is one I'm gonna actually make I'm gonna make a two prediction. It's gonna be Control or Death Stranding to me, and I'll put it this way. I don't think Control was such a great looking game, but just some of the stuff that they did with optical illusions and the way that the world shifted and morphed and everything. It just, the pure art design in Control was very well done. It was really cool to look at. Remedy, it's one of the things that Remedy just does incredibly well. So I've actually got to either go with Control or Death Stranding, and Death Stranding to me gets a nomination, or I think could win this category based on technical achievement. Just the fact that the game looks so flippin' good. Just from a technical standpoint, Death Stranding, it just looks so pretty. The world, the characters, just everything about it. So, like I said, while Control, I think has such cool design ideas and does a lot of, again, creative things, I think Death Stranding is just a more traditional, technically good-looking game. So I could see both of those winning for either reason. So I actually got a hedge and go Control or Death Stranding on art direction. Moving on, we've got action adventure game. We have Borderlands 3, Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. And again, this should be a pretty obvious one, which one I'm going to pick in this category, seeing how much I've loved this game this year. It's Death Stranding. I'm going to be entirely honest. Borderlands 3 is good. I'd still score it at an 8. Control, it's a good game. I'd still give it an 8. Resident Evil 2, 9. Sekiro, 8. I've not played Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. But Death Stranding, I give it a 10. I've absolutely loved the game so far. I think it's done such interesting things with action-adventure gameplay. It's the only one of these games that's really made me want to just go in and just play and play and play and play and play, even if I'm not doing anything. Even if I'm just doing random deliveries, I get such a kick out of planning my routes and just walking and maybe having to deal with the mules or the BTs or anything like that. It's just, Death Stranding has really just found a way to just get me lost in a game. And like I said, I think Death Stranding did it the best for everything. Yeah, just with traversal alone. I mean, its combat's okay, but yeah, traversal. And I get, in a weird way, Death Stranding does combine combat, traversal, and puzzle solving. If you're wondering what the hell I mean by puzzle solving, it's just by planning your routes and micromanaging your cargo and how much you can, like trying to maximize how much you can carry and how to move everywhere. Combat against the BTs and the and the mules and just actually just hiking around the world. Yeah, I give it to Death Stranding. Moving on, we got Best Action Game for the best game in the action genre, focused primarily on combat. Now, this is going to be a weird category for me, or I'm going to make I'm gonna make a decision that I don't think anybody's gonna actually see me making here. So our nominees are Apex, Astral Chain, Call of Duty: Modern Warfare, Devil May Cry 5, Gears 5, and Metro Exodus. As much as I love Metro Exodus, for pure action-based gameplay is not what I don't think that it was the best action game. I think the game was great. Maybe Metro Exodus should have gotten a narrative nomination, but I wouldn't score it as the best action game. I love Gears. I wouldn't score it as the best action game. Astral Chain I have enjoyed. Still wouldn't nominate it. Similar thing with Apex, but my two nominations, or my two picks here, are actually Call of Duty: Modern Warfare and Devil May Cry 5. Call of Duty, it was such a smooth shooter. It was a lot of fun to play through that game. And again, I was mostly just wanting to skip the story beats and just just actually go through the action sequences. It's good. I gotta hand it to you. It's I don't want to say the most fun I've had playing a Call of Duty storyline. But it's up there. It was really good. It's good. I really wasn't expecting much, seeing that I wasn't a big fan of the original Modern Warfare. But I think Call of Duty and its recent storylines have been doing a good job, and just an enjoyable shooter. So that's where Call of Duty gets a pick from me. And Devil May Cry, again, another franchise that I've not traditionally been a fan of. But really, if we're taking out story from Devil May Cry and just looking at it as an action game, I had a lot of fun with it. I think the controls were great. The action bits were really fun. Yeah, I've got to actually give Devil May Cry a pick on this one. So now we're going to move on to the big one, Game of the Year. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields, we have Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is a really weird nominee in that one, and The Outer Worlds. And as I said earlier, but Death Stranding, of all these games that were nominated for Game of the Year, Death Stranding, I think, is the one that 100%, I think, undisputably deserves to be in this category. And again, I think it's my pick. Easily, hands down, Death Stranding is my pick for Game of the Year this year. So, there we go, guys. There is my... There are my opinions on the Game Awards for 2019. As I said, I believe the actual show is on the 12th of December. So drop back. Well, obviously, don't just drop back on the 12th of December for the actual show. But yeah, stay tuned with the channel. We got tons of Let's Plays, everything. I got the weekly show probably coming out later today. Mostly because I forgot to do that last night because I was sleeping. Like I said, tons of Let's Plays and everything. And on December 12th, we'll see how close my predictions were. So I want to say, as always, thank you so much for watching. Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links, that stuff is down in the description below. Like, comment, you're not already. Please subscribe to the channel and stay tuned more next time. Till then, my name's AJ Gels. This is the Gaming Channel. I'm out.